Hey you guys, how is your Monday? This is the second month that I have attempted to do the Rome report, and I've already failed because I've already got the wrong date. I was going to go live on Sundays, and I realized last night, I actually did a Facebook Live series for 100 episodes on Monday night, and so last night I was like, is my live on Sunday night or is it Monday night? And I was just convinced it was Monday night. So I guess for all purposes, I should just make it on Monday night, right? The first Monday of every month, and have a recap. Hey, you guys. Thanks for joining. Okay, so let's take it away. Let me put these glasses on so I know what I'm doing. And if you see something black moving back here behind me, well, let me just show you. There he is. There's Dexter. He's watching his mom. Okay, let's dig right in. Welcome back to the Rome Report, my monthly Instagram Live series. And I share with you where I've been, what you should do if you're traveling, or give you maybe some inspiration as to what you should do and what stood out to me. So, hi, I'm Melody from Wherever I May Roam blog. I've been a content creator for 12 years. And if you watched this series from last week or last month, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And if you came back again, I certainly appreciate it. And if you're new to this, thank you for joining me. I love to explore small towns, casinos, family travel. Hey, Pam. Hey, Peyton. Hey, Eddie. Okay, so we're going to do this in no apparent order. I've got to look at my notes here a little bit because I was doing this kind of on the fly. I've got a lot of stuff going on right now, which some of you know. But anyway, I turned 57 in January, so it was a great month to travel, and went to Vegas to celebrate my birthday. Not only my birthday, but to pack up my life and move back to Florida. So while I was in Nevada, let's talk about some really cool things that happened. So my youngest daughter, Peyton, joined me, which was really nice to have, somebody there with me all the time. We have traveled a lot together in her 30 years of life. So that's always fun. We did quite a bit of hotel hopping. So we went to the Palms on my birthday. She took me to brunch there. And I had gambled at the Palms once, but I forget kind of how swanky it is. And it was so busy. So we had the, I think it's called the Ace Buffet. It was so packed on a weekday, like a boring old Wednesday. By the time it opened, there were probably 115 people in line or something. That's pretty big, on a Wednesday off the strip in Las Vegas. We went to the Encore and the Cosmopolitan. We went to the Bellagio to see the Chinese New Year's decorations. It's free, so I always recommend going to Bellagio. I ran into a friend there, Nicole. She's from North Dakota, but anyway, so I ran into her just, coincidentally, looking at the gardens and everything. I'd just done a live video, so that was pretty cool. And let's see, what else did we do at Bellagio? Well, we went to Encore and, I gotta look right here. Oh, the Wynn. Yeah, we went to the Wynn. And so Peyton and I were there at dinner time, and we didn't want to have like a really fancy meal. Plus, both of those places, the Encore and the Wynn, most of the restaurants don't open until 5 o'clock. And at this time, it's like 4 o'clock. We've walked 28 miles in 3 days or something. So, we're just hungry. Not that that's the only meal we had, but we were just hungry. So hang on one second. Somebody wants to be part of the live video. So here's Dexter. So anyway, we found this sports bar. Actually, one of the security guards recommended it. So we went to this sports bar in the lobby that's right in front of the sports book place, and had a really delightful meal for $22 a person, which in Vegas, that's good whenever you can score a dinner for that price. But it had really comfortable seats, and we can watch all the sporting events. Plus, you can see all the action at the casino. So it was super fun. Yet this is Dexter Good Boy. And you can see he loves his mom. Oh, yeah. He's full of kisses. Okay, so then we went to Silverton. We actually stayed at Silverton. It was my first time getting comps at Silverton. If you have not been, it is about 1.5 miles past Mandalay Bay and the Luxor. And it's a little bit off the strip, not far, maybe 2 blocks off of the strip, but it is further south. And it's a great casino. It's very rustic looking, like a lodge. It kind of reminds me of the one at Disney. What is that one? Adventure? Is that the name of it? Anyway, whatever that hotel is. Very much reminiscent of a Disney hotel. But it has really cool amenities, and it has really beautiful rooms, like shabby chic, but not cheap, if that makes any sense. So anyway, I got my first comps there, so that was really nice. We stayed there, and then we stayed another night with Eddie at Resorts World, another place where he gets a lot of comps. So once you Look, Dexter's just asleep on me. So once you find the places where you get comps, of course you want to do business with those places because, you know, hey, I didn't have to pay the pet fee. Dexter was back in Florida. So sometimes you have to pay the resort's fee, which could be $35, $40, $50, depending on where you're staying. But anyway, that's not bad for an overnight in Las Vegas, right? So let's see here. I gotta like really get busy here as I try to talk to you all, juggle this, and look for some pictures. So hold on one little second. I'm gonna find some pictures and I can add my pictures to what I'm telling you about and everything so that you can see, but Dexter's gonna have to get down. Yeah, he's too squirmy. Okay, bear with me one little second. I'm new to this, you know, teaching old dog new tricks. I'm trying, y'all. Okay, so here is our room at the Silverton, which I think is pretty nice. Like, again, really stylish and everything. And then, let's see. Here's another picture of Silverton. So they use the sports book from Circa, and I love Circa. That's down at the Fremont Street Experience. The pool looks very much like Circa, only you have to pay a lot of money to go to the pool there. And of course, there's nobody there right now because it was pretty cold in Las Vegas at this time of year. But it's a really great pool. And that's just one of the amenities. They have great paying games. They have all kinds of restaurants and everything. So just in case you were wondering about something of that nature. Silverton, hopefully that one's a new one for you. Okay, and we went to Caesar's Palace. Caesar's Palace is just one that really doesn't get old. You know, there's a lot to see and do, great shopping arcade, but this is my favorite shot of Caesar's. And this is a religious temple thing outside that Eddie and I found when we were working Super Bowl, when we volunteered for Super Bowl. And we saw this and I published a picture of it, and I had so many people who go to Las Vegas a lot and they said, I've never seen that before. So there's an even better picture of it right there. And let's just do a couple more Vegas pictures while I'm on this. Of course, we went to Cosmopolitan. If I'm going to be on the Strip, Cosmopolitan's probably my favorite hotel to go to. I love the secret restaurants and bars and everything. Peyton wanted to go have dessert. So we went there for that, gambled a little. I actually had better luck gambling there than normal. She likes to eat at Milk Bar or something like that. I didn't care for it. I didn't like anything she had, but I appreciated that she took me. And let's see what else. Okay, so here we are at the Palms. This is happy 57th birthday to me. I don't know what kind of pose I'm doing, y'all. Looking like some kind of crazy bird, but there I am. And this was a big hit. So I love Rocky. Like, I love all the Rocky movies, love Sylvester Stallone, love all the Creed movies, and so forth. So I found this machine. There's one at the Fremont Street Experience in one of the hotels, or on one of the casinos. I can always find it. But this one was actually, I think it was at the Wynn? Oh, the Wynn or the Palms. And I just couldn't believe, like, usually you have to go seek out the Rocky machines and the Whitney Houston, but they were kind of abundant on this trip. Here we are at is this the Venetian? I do believe it's the Venetian. The Wizard of Oz stuff, because of course that's, you know, playing over at the Sphere. And it was my first time at the Sphere. So Eddie gave me tickets to see the Eagles for Christmas, and it was a great experience. I will say it's not exactly what I pictured. I didn't love it enough to spend that kind of money to go just any old time. I prefer a concert or a show, I guess you'd say, not really together, but it was a fantastic show, and everybody there was like our age. There were maybe 2 people under 40, so that was pretty funny. But I will tell you, you actually connect to the Sphere from the Venetian, so you just like walk a little ways from there. But when you get out of the concert, if you are going to ground transportation, like for Uber or for a taxi, it's like a 1.5 mile walk. It is brutal. So be prepared for that. I was not prepared for that. But anyway, it looked very beautiful at night, and I got some really great pictures. Let's see if there's one more picture I can show you. Here we go. This is a great one at night. Isn't that just beautiful? So I'm not a lover of the Sphere, but it sure lights up the Vegas landscape. That is for sure. So we went to see the Eagles, which was really awesome. And here's Eddie and I in the lobby. The lobby was super cool and it reminded me a lot of the Dr. Phillips Center in Orlando. And then let's see what else I've got here. Hold on one second. Okay, so here's a couple pictures of the Eagles. Don Henley is actually standing there singing at this one. And Vince Gill, if you didn't know, Vince Gill took the place whenever Glenn Frey died. But Joe Walsh, I mean, he's old, and I thought he looked pretty rough, but he is just the epitome of like a rocker. Just the epitome. So anyway, it was really cool. I can say I checked that off my bucket list now. And let's see, a little bit more about Vegas. This was so cool. I enjoy romantic walks through a casino. 100% nailed it. So I had to get my picture with this guy because, like, how cool is that? And let's see, one more. Let me give you one more Vegas picture, and then we're going to move on from Vegas. So what is it going to be? How about this one? That's pretty beautiful. So just another beautiful nighttime shot. Peyton had never been to New York. So we went there, and I've been to New York probably 100 times. But I had not really appreciated all the effort that goes into making that hotel really great. And she and I were in New York last January at the same time of year, and it was brutally, brutally cold. But we still pounded the pavement and saw things that we hadn't seen in the 100 visits before then. So as I'm in Vegas and I'm going through New York, I was just shocked at the detail. I think that hotel doesn't get as much love as it should. First of all, the casino pays really well. There's lots of cool things to shop for. There's always something going on. You get to smell all the delicious Hershey chocolate, right? But anyway, and then there's Eddie and I went to an Irish pub there once. It was really good. And my friend Robin and I went to a Mexican place that was pretty good. And all of them are like super affordable. So I think it just doesn't get enough love. It's just kind of like a lower tier MGM property, or that's how I feel about it. But they have a fantastic arcade. Scarlett, my granddaughter, loved it a few times ago when she was in Vegas. Loved that. And one other thing I did in Vegas, I can't not share this with you. One second. Peyton took me to do this. Will it play a movie? It will play a movie. Oh, great. Look at that. I learned something new. So here we are taking the Las Vegas Loop. And the Las Vegas Loop, what we were doing was from Resorts World to what we thought was the Encore, but it's actually the convention center at the Encore. So I guess the southern entrance of the convention center. Anyway, it was $4.25 and super cool. First of all, like somebody actually drives the cars, the Teslas. I thought maybe they were self-driving, but it was like being in a video game. And like I've played video games my whole life, so I think I'd probably be a really good driver at these underground tunnels. So that was really cool. And Peyton showed me how to do it so that, you know, I would know how to do it in the future. But the route that takes you to the airport should be open soon. And that's going to be that's going to be a game changer in Las Vegas. Really a game changer. And speaking of, let me tell you something funny. I had a couple of taxi rides and I had a couple Uber rides. And both parties were telling me that whenever Uber came to town, the taxi people there were like fights. There were like brutal fights because they were just so mad and they didn't want to share and so forth. So that's why whenever you go to a hotel or something, the taxi line is still in the front of the hotel and you have to walk, I'm going to say a country mile to get to the Uber line. Like I think it was at Bellagio. I think it was Bellagio I was staying at. Bellagio or Caesars or one of those big hotels. And it was a 1.5 mile walk from the lobby to where you get an Uber. So anyway, that's why, because they don't play nice. They don't play in that same sandbox. So now you know. Okay. So now we're moving on. Again, the Eagles were fantastic. Hotel California was one of my mother's favorite songs. And so just seeing the Eagles and hearing them play that, and that's what they opened with. And the video to that was really, really awesome. I think they were driving on Big Sur in California. I'm pretty sure I'd been on that road before. So anyway, that was just really special. Because I get to see something that pays tribute to my mother and see like legends and everything. So really cool. Okay, then I went to Mesquite. And so for those of you who do not know me, I'm getting a divorce after 33 and a half years. I truly do still love my husband. We just need some time apart, basically. I think that's what it is. Nothing big happened or anything like that. So I still do things with him. I still talk to him almost daily. So some people just don't understand that or don't get it, but we are both moving to Florida. I'm moving to Jacksonville. So I went to Mesquite, which was home for 3.5 years, my favorite place I've ever lived, and packed up stuff. And so we had a lot of like fun last hurrahs. We went to several dinners and hung out with the friends that actually brought us to Mesquite in the first place. And I had one of the best spa treatments ever. So I can always get a really good spa treatment at Casablanca Resort and Casino for a decent price. And plus I'm a local, so you get a little bit of a discount. Well, anyway, I was up on my gambling, so I was like, well, I'm going to treat myself and have a massage because I know it's so much cheaper there than, at another place, I guess, especially like here in Florida. So I go to have a massage, and I'm like, I haven't had a facial in like a year. I'm going to just have both. And I had some time in between to do both. And how sweet. Eddie won some money and came and paid for my services, which I thought was just like so kind of him. So he paid for my services. So I had a day. Come here. Sorry, got to call this dog down. Come here. I had a day of pampering, but I had an anti-aging facial, and tell me if this has ever happened to you. So they always do your in your neck area and all this sort of thing. The anti-aging is going to help with fine lines, and I'm thinking like, around my eyes, around my lip lines and all that sort of thing. That's what I'm thinking. Plus I've been in, it's been like cold, so my skin is dry. Okay, no. She focused almost entirely on from shoulder to shoulder, all the way down to here, and from here down. That was 9/10 of my massage. Let me pick this dog up again. That was literally 9/10 of my massage. And she did such a great job. 50 minutes went by way too fast, but when I left there, my neck was noticeably better. Like the fine lines were almost gone after this one treatment. And it was just a basic treatment, like a $90 facial, not a $250 facial, or not any major product that, works some wonders or anything like that. But anyway, shout out because it was a really great treatment. So if you love casinos or you go to casinos, always check out their spa. I've been to several casino spas, and they've always done a really good job. Biloxi, the Beau Rivage, that's another one. Also MGM in Vegas, it's more expensive, but that one's another really good one. Okay, so let's see what else. I love this. This was just a note that I just jotted down. Sometimes travel is about closing chapters, not opening new ones. And I think I left Vegas on a happy note. We had a very good time. Both of us won some money, made some memories with friends, said goodbye to all the neighbors, and so forth. So now I'm back on the East Coast, which is going to be home again. So I did have a weekend in January where I went to Savannah. I needed to take the dog and just go somewhere for a couple days. And so here we go. My first time in Savannah with a dog. And the first thing we did was go to Wormsloe State Historic Site. I'd wanted to go there for a really long time. And so Dexter and I made it just in time. It was kind of dreary out and cold. But anyway, so we went to that, and it's beautiful. They have a 1.5 mile drive that takes you to the State Historic Site from the visitor center. And they have like I don't know, some kind of wagon thing that pulls you there. And you can take your dog. So Dexter was in his little stroller because, he's a casino dog. But we did that. And let's see, let me get you a couple pictures here. But anyway, you drive through 1.5 miles of live oak trees, 400 trees that are from the 1890s. And let me tell you, they're fantastic. So this is just a couple people walking through the historic site. I think it's maybe like $10 to go, but I wanted to go for 20 some years. So glad I got to check off Wormsloe. And that is actually, it's not at Tybee Island, but it's in the direction of Tybee Island from Savannah, maybe 20 minutes out of town. I also drove around to see the houses in that area, which I think is called Good Hope or Isle of Hope, something about hope. And man, these houses were beautiful. I've been to Savannah and Tybee Island a lot, but I'd never seen those homes, and gosh, they were gorgeous. So we did run by Tybee just to take a couple pictures, and here's Dexter walking out to one of the piers. Tybee Island is just so nice. And then here is the lighthouse at Tybee. I have a lot of lighthouse friends. Hey Corey, what you doing? So, and PC name tag. Hey, we're so excited to be using them for our Southern Travelers Explore conference coming up soon. So anyway, Savannah was really good in Tybee Island. I met a friend from high school. We've been friends for a million years, and had brunch at, what is the name of it? Common? I think it's called Common. So we had brunch there. Look at this, some kind of I think it was pork I think it's pork. I don't even know. But anyway, some kind of scrambled eggs with all kinds of good cheese and some cheese grits and some green onions. Oh, it was divine. And the restaurant is really lovely. So anyway, I met this friend that I've had forever and ever and ever. And of course, we stopped by at River Street Sweets. They're going to be a sponsor of our conference too. So if you're coming to our conference, get ready. We're going to have turtles. Corey, I'm just using basic Instagram Live. That's it. You just click the little button of the photo and you can just add your photos there. Like I said, I'm just learning. Old dog, new tricks. But let's just look at that one too. How delicious is that? The chocolate dipped Rice Krispie treats. I want to make you hungry. And then so my friend Yvette and I just walked around town and saw some things. I didn't have Dexter with me. I take that back. I didn't have Dexter. But we walked around and saw some things. We went shopping. Like, I hadn't been shopping in Savannah in years. And of course, we went to Leopold's and had ice cream. Rum raisin, that's my favorite always at Leopold's. It's so good. But somebody was having a medical emergency inside. So it was really cold. We had to sit outside. I didn't even get a picture of my ice cream because we were so worried about, this person who was having this medical issue. But it was really cold in Savannah. Really, really cold. So here's Dexter enjoying some kind of crazy bone that's as big as he is on the bed at his hotel. We had just a basic chain hotel for with pet fee, $110 a night. Super good deal. But anyway, he and I hunkered down from that cold weather and just kind of hung out in the hotel room. And it was nice. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes a hotel vacation is really, really good. Okay, so back in Florida. Let's see. Back in Florida, I don't have pictures of this, but actually, I don't think I have pictures of any of these things. So let me give you another picture of something else. What are we going to get to be a picture of? I'm going to give you a picture of, here's just a nice New York in Las Vegas picture. So back in Florida, here are some small moments that mattered. So one day I just decided to go for a drive. I went down toward Daytona Beach and I ended up at Washington Oaks Gardens State Park. Sounds very weird to say, but man, what a gem. That state park is so nice. And they have this historic house and these beautiful gardens. And I mean, it's January. It was January, y'all. So I'm not expecting much from the gardens, but they still delivered. They were very beautiful and lots of camellias. So I would definitely recommend that as one of the nicest Florida state parks I've ever seen. Then another day, my granddaughter and I went down to Daytona Beach. I had been wanting to take her to MOAS, Museum of Art and Science in Daytona Beach, which was, or maybe still is, I'm not positive, a Smithsonian affiliate. But I really love that museum. They have the Coca-Cola bottle collection plus a bunch of Coca-Cola collectibles, and we used to own a vending company, so I'm very familiar with a lot of those old Coca-Cola things. And let's see what else. They have glassware, they have trains from back in the Flagler days and so forth. So this museum just has a lot. And they had a really cool bug exhibit, like these giant art bugs, so that you can see what they look like up close. It was really beautiful. But I tell people about this museum a lot, and it doesn't get a lot of recognition. But I am so happy to report that that museum is getting a grand facelift, a major, major facelift, and it's going to be called the Brown. So the Brown currently is a husband and wife, benefactors, and there's an art museum named for them that's on the same property, not connecting, but on the same property. And it's really nice. It's all Florida artists. You can see the Florida Highwaymen and just any Florida artist. It's a 2-story building, really beautiful. But all that is going to become the Brown, and it's going to be like a major contender. So I'm so excited for them and just really anxious for their success, because Daytona is nice, and I think it gets overlooked sometimes with some of the more well-known cities in Florida, and you can always get a great hotel room for a decent price. And I had probably the best meal of January. Coincidentally, there's a bunch of chains in Florida, or a local chain called Krabby's. And this one, it may be called Krabby's Dockside. They're all called something different, Krabby's. But anyway, so Scarlett and I went to dinner there, and I had Royal Reds. I've had Royal Red shrimp all over Mississippi, Alabama, I guess probably maybe even Louisiana. But I've had them many places. It's always my favorite. I don't know what they did to these Royal Reds, but first of all, they were affordable. And second of all, they were so sweet. It was like eating candy. They were fantastic. And when I say an order of peel and eat shrimp was the best meal I had, that's really saying something. So yeah, that was great. And let's see, I think there was, so one day my daughter says, let's just go to the beach. So we just pile up and go to, I think it's called Volcano Beach in South St. Augustine. A really nice beach, and there's a place where you can change your clothes and everything. That makes it convenient, especially when you're traveling with people who don't like sand on them, like me. So anyway, that was fun, and it's nice. I lived by a beach for 10 years in Vero Beach. Very rarely ever went to the beach. I'm not a sand person or an ocean person, but it was just nice and relaxing. So maybe I'll adapt that into new life, and, you know, just for some quality time to read and just like reflect and so forth. Those like quiet moments that I'm like really, really craving. So that'll be nice. And then another cool thing that I did, I'm losing y'all, I know, but this is really cool. Who watched the OC? Raise your hand if you watched the OC. So I love the International Film Festival, and it's been a while since I've seen any movies at one. So I just happened to look to see if Jacksonville and or St. Augustine have one, because I'm real close to both of those. Well, I'm in both of those, actually. So lo and behold, St. Augustine was having their International Film Festival. So I see Ben McKenzie, and I'm thinking, what are the chances that that can be Ryan from, you know, the OC? Well, sure enough, it was. And he has a book out and also a film about cryptocurrency. So I bought the book. I had Scarlett with me, so I didn't stay for the movie because I think it was probably too adult-like for her. But we did get tickets, go in and buy his book. So I got to meet Ben McKenzie and have a great conversation with him, and, you know, just tell him, you know, we've been fans like forever, and it's so cool to see him doing something, you know, so like far off how he started in acting and everything. I love to see it when actors like move on to a different kind of field. Isn't that great? So anyway, so that was really cool. And anything else? Well, I found a place to live. So I'm going to be living in Jacksonville, and that was something, y'all. That's a whole different episode. Like a house or apartment or condo or townhouse hunting. After the last time I did that, I think I was 19 years old. So, and I'm 57. So to say it has changed is a lot. And I'm not just petting my shirt, in case you didn't see. There's Dexter right here. He is black, so I don't know if you can see him against my shirt. So anyway, that is my January Rome report. Vegas highs, Mesquite goodbyes, Savannah charm, and Florida beginnings. Yes, I read that. If you have questions about Las Vegas casinos, I'm your girl. Eddie and I get so many perks there. It's just unbelievable. And we don't spend that much money gambling. We just like are just really good at it. And if you are gambling anywhere, please take this advice. Get that card and stick it in, even if you're spending $1. I can tell you firsthand that I spent less than $200 at the Venetian. This was a couple years ago. And by the time I left the casino, I already had a free night. And then at Silverton, I have probably never spent more than $100. And I think I've been there maybe 3 times. I've never spent more than $100 each time. I've walked out with more than I went in with. And then I finally started getting free comps there. 2 nights. Most places are 2 nights. So anyway, hey, from Marrakesh. That's awesome. My husband gave me a trip to Morocco once, and I wouldn't do one of the things on the excursion. So we just surrendered the trip because I don't do animal tourism. So anyway, but maybe someday I'll make it there. So anyway, if you're traveling to Savannah and you want some tips there, like I've been going to Savannah for 35 years, so I know a lot about that. Florida parks or day trips in Florida. Florida is like kind of the back of my hand, and I'm learning even more up in this area. And anything about like, I can't answer much about the Sphere, but my kids have been a lot. So drop a message here if you would like. I appreciate you watching, or if you're watching the replay, I'll be sharing through blog posts, reels, YouTube content, all that sort of thing on wherever I may roam. So keep an eye out for that, and let me know if you want a deeper dive into anything I've talked about, because I am going to be doing some special like one-off episodes. And Kansas Day was just this 4 days ago, I think. And I love Kansas. I've been to Kansas so many times and have so many great relationships with friends from Kansas and so forth. So Kansas might be my first little special episode that's not just a monthly Rome report. So thanks for hanging out with me. I certainly appreciate it. And y'all take care and have a great February.